Welcome, party goers, and welcome back to the Underground. You know what? This is going to be my first actual video on the Underground. A real video. I mean, not the intro video, but the first real video. And so I thought that I would do a video on something that I've been so repressed about, or so kept on lockdown that I've been censored to the point where I couldn't do it, so I'm going to do it. This is going to be a political video. If you're not into conservative politics, you know what? Click off, because this is going to be all about conservative politics. I want to talk about Eric Holder, the most racist attorney general in the history of this country. The man should be brought up on treason charges. It's ridiculous. The fact is, Eric Holder hates white people. Now listen. Those of you who know me know that I'm not a racist person, and I shouldn't say I never have been, because you evolve as a human being. But the fact of the matter is that I don't have a problem with Eric Holder being black. To be honest with you, I wish Condoleezza Rice was president right now, instead of the idiot we have in the Oval Office. But the fact is that Holder hates white people. He literally hates white people. He is all about people of color. He is not about the Constitution. He is not about immigration laws. Now, let me tell you how I came to this conclusion. Well, there's a lot of, listen, that's actually going to be too long of a video. But let me tell you what literally has pissed me off lately about Eric Holder. Like I said, that list is long, Here's a guy who sues the state of Arizona, uses the Justice Department to sue the state of Arizona, because the state of Arizona is actually trying to enforce immigration laws, which is the federal government's job. They've chosen not to do that. They've, starting at, by the way, that's a top to bottom thing. So, truthfully, Obama is the one that didn't choose to enforce our immigration laws. Not that there aren't some Republicans that are culpable in that, but we're going to focus on this administration because they're currently in charge. So, you've got Eric Holder's Justice Department suing the state for trying to do the job that they've chosen not to do. I mean, they basically have an open borders policy at the Justice Department and in the Obama administration. So now the latest thing is you've got Sheriff Joe Apollo. I believe I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but if not, I'm sorry. Sheriff Joe, he's down there. You all know him. He's kind of famous for doing all kinds of pretty interesting things, alternative type jail time, like big tents and stuff like that. Like he said, good enough for our military, definitely good enough for criminals. So here's a guy who the Justice Department has done a hatchet job on, who have accused him of racism. And by the way, to be accused of racism by Eric Holder is a joke, an absolute disgusting joke. Okay, so here's the thing. I remember reading some of the report that they compiled against Sheriff Joe. And one of the statistics that they came up with to actually illustrate how racist the sheriff was that they did a statistic that said that out of X amount of cars that were pulled over for traffic violations, a disproportionate number of them were Hispanic people. Okay, and I can remember thinking to myself when I first read that, what a crock of shit. First of all, not a little known secret, but a factoid about me is that I used to live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I can remember when I moved out to Albuquerque, this was probably 11, 12, 13 years ago, I don't remember offhand, but I can remember being in shock as to the amount of Hispanics that were there. I mean, I told friends of mine back home in northern Ohio, or northwest Ohio, I would tell them I knew what it felt like to be a minority now, because, and this is the story I would tell them. I'd say, if I stop at a red light, if there's a car in front of me, it's driven by a Hispanic. If there's a car behind me, it's driven by a Hispanic. If there's a car to either side of me, they're driven by Hispanics. The Hispanic population was huge, much huger than the white population. So it would just go to reason that if you're looking at, say, 100 tickets are pulled over people in New Mexico or in Arizona or any of those places out west, 85% of those pulled over are going to be Hispanics. It has nothing to do with racism. Literally, it has nothing to do with racism. But they compile this report to illustrate how racist Sheriff Joe was. And I thought to myself, what a crock of shit. What an absolute crock of shit. The Obama administration, God help us if he gets another term. Yeah, which reminds me, I'm flipping through the channels the other day, and I run across Chelsea Handler's channel, or her show on the E Network, I believe it is. Now, I actually, a friend of mine had a few years ago given me a book by her, and I actually read it, and it was decent. It was a decent book. I enjoyed it. But she's sitting on her show, and she said, they were talking, they got a little bit into politics. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed. She's just not. She says, it doesn't matter because Obama's going to get it. Obama needs another 4 years to prove himself. You know, and I thought to myself, that ain't the way it works in this country, honey. You fuck up your first 4 years, you don't get another 4. I mean, I'm sorry. You just don't. So, anyway, Eric Holder, he really needs to be thrown out of office. It makes me sick. It just really, really makes me sick. I don't know where this guy comes from. I don't know if he thinks that it's his responsibility to make up for, you know, decades-long racial discrimination. I'm not sure what. It's kind of like it's kind of like affirmative action gone horribly wrong. In the sense that, you know, instead of giving breaks to minorities, he literally goes after Caucasians. And, you know, and here's the other thing, too, and I want people to think about this. There's a reason why the Democrats are all about open borders. Seriously. There's a reason for that. You know, there's a reason why the Democrats are not trying to have people need to show ID at the voting booth. Don't want that at all. You know, there's a reason why organizations like Acorn existed. You know, registering people that had no business being registered to begin with. You know, and I know that to the Democrats, if they allow, and you watch and you wait and see if there's not a big push to allow illegal immigrants to vote. Because right now they know the writing on the wall with all the new laws regarding voter ID. They see the writing on the wall that it's going to become very, very difficult for them to continue to have illegals voting. And people voting more than once, and the usual nonsense that the Democrats pull, you know. Anyway, I could go on and on and on and on about this. No sense in making this a long video. I just feel so good being able to talk some politics. I'm hoping that I can continue to do this, but I'm a little rusty on it, so it'll flow a little bit better next time, hopefully. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Everybody, take care, and we'll. I've got to come up with a cool exit. You know, the whole SIA thing, I've kind of done that. I don't know, in the comment section, give me some thoughts on that, you know, but for now, that will be all, and party on, party goers. Bye.